Folks, we are getting set here for the final and fifth matchup of the day. Arial Rise taking on Karn and Co. This one should be, I would say, just as good as the last one. I know we set it up as the marquee matchup. I'm excited for this one as well. These are two very highly explosive, high-octane teams. Cookies, you're ready for it, I can tell.
Actually, it was because I was hearing the stream twice. I didn't close.
I thought maybe I was just
getting I was literally hearing you talk
me
twice.
Going.
Okay, but I am excited about this game though, as I would love to talk about Arial Rise at this moment. That's right. You know what? The great thing about having Forceful on this podcast is he tells you a lot of good stuff about this team. I'm going to tell you all a story about Jay. Did you know that Jay actually, I make injury jokes all the time, like to kind of make jokes or whatever, but Jay unironically had an injury in his hand. It was some sort of cyst that made him play very poorly. It made him, if you remember in the NAL, this guy missed like a whole mag of an SMG-11 on somebody. But now, look at his stats. He's kind of the GOAT. He's kind of nasty with it. And it's because he has since healed from his injury. And Jay, it's part of the reason this team is playing at a really good level. Of course, they've lost some games. And overtime, mostly. But this roster is not to be trampled with. What's it called? There's like a shirt or a saying where it's like, don't tread on me. Don't tread on the Arial Rise. They're nasty.
Well, Karn and Co. is nasty as well, Connor.
Yeah, this is a team that's really had its ups and downs. That's to put them lightly. And a lot of their success comes from if they can get their entries involved. If you get your Mikeys, your Feltwinters, and your Xenos shooting straight with Whitlock and Karn kind of busting up the rear and making sure that the drone intel is good. But one of the biggest issues has been, what happens when that drone intel is not good? Things fall apart really quickly, as well as them struggling to really overcome aggressive type teams that they've been playing recently. But hopefully, that patch is a little bit done. Arial Rise a lot more structured, and hopefully they should return back to form.
One thing that's important to note as we talk about Arial Rise, they're 3-3. That's 3 regulation wins and 3 overtime losses. If they're winning, they're doing it in the best way. And if they're losing, they're doing it in the best way as well, Cookies.
Right. Now, again, this is a forceful point. Point number 2, I really want to hark on. Obliterating Karn & Company's drone economy, right? This is a team. A lot of people rely on information, right? This is Thomas Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. You need information to do things. But Carnage team especially, right? When we piece the picture together, it's hard to set up and do everything in the nerdy way that Karn's team does things if they don't have drones. If you actually aggressively obliterate them before they can whiz into positions that are key to the attack, they will struggle. Isn't that right, Con?
Yeah, for Karn & Co., they're a 5v5 kind of team. If they could just fast forward their attacking rounds to that final minute where just everybody's like outside of sight and everybody on the defensive side's inside of sight, they would do it. They do it 100% of the time. That's where they thrive, where then they can just drone out areas and be like, okay, they're here, here, and here. We know what to do. We've drilled this execute 80,057,642 times. They get it right a lot of the times as well.
I'm sorry.
I don't know how you did that so smoothly.
That was so specific, and he just really went through the numbers. But of course, the flip side is true. On the opposite critical point, isn't that right? We, the drones are obliterated. Karn & Company's team should expect to be blind, right? If Ariel's doing their job.
Counterblind them though, because what we were saying with the executing on Karn & Co, they have utilized attacker repick very well. Hopefully, they bring in the Osa, they bring in the Capitao, the Ying. They have a lot of these really fun operators that help them get into the bomb site, bisect it, remove certain power positions. And if you get all those moving at one time, Arial Rise are a structured team, and you should kind of know the general areas they're going to play. Maybe Freak might catch you off of guard once or twice, but he's not going to be prone in big tower when you're executing in pillar like somebody like Butters would be from last stage. It's just not the style of team for Arial Rise that you're going to be going into. They need to bring these execute aids in order for them to actually find success on the attack.
What I want to talk about now, Cookies, is I feel like we've hit the critical points now. We don't want to drone on too much longer. So let's go into the map veto. I have a good feeling about this, Cookies. I have a good feeling of where we're going to take this map veto.
Well, our team has a good feeling that they don't want to go to theme park. One thing I could say about Arial Rise, even though they lost 6 kids, they're willing to play all the different maps that I would consider more complex. The banks, the chalets, theme park, as I said, even Villa which hasn't been banned yet. That they looked pretty darn solid yesterday on Villa. But we'll see if it makes it through this ban phase. Chalet going away, Clubhouse going away for Arial Rise. Like I said, I like their philosophy. It's pretty much we're getting rid of this simplistic stuff. These maps that have been here a while, we're gonna make you think, and we're gonna do our best at that. Oregon and Villa banned from Karn and Company.
So now we have removed not only Clubhouse, but also Oregon and Villa, which means we get down to Skyscraper
Question mark?
and Bang. Either one of these will be fun and
I
something
think
a little bit new.
Bank. Oh man, I thought Arial Rise
There
was
was
gonna get
no way.
it for a hot second.
There
But
was
either way,
no way Karn was going to allow that to go through.
look what that forces, man. We finally get it. For a minute, like what was Crow's talking, giving us the business about how we weren't gonna see Skyscraper on stream and all that. Now you are, baby. It's showtime. It's lit. You know what? There is no special analysis here. These are two teams that dry ran in it, that they work hard at it, and they get to show off their new strategy on a brand new map. And that's why we do this. That's why we wake up in the morning and we breathe air so we can watch Skyscraper in Challenger League. And wow, I'm the only one that picked Karn. Okay.
You're stuck there. You have no other option. You cannot move off of it, Cookies.
I want to
But
hear
how
why.
good?
Why
How good,
Karn and
though?
Co?
How good though, Cookies? I'm gonna let you talk about Karn & Co for a second. I feel like I need to belabor the point though. How good is this game gonna be that we're finally going to Skyscraper? I thought we got the off-stream tease and that was gonna curse us, but we're here now. It's happening. And yeah, I guess you can talk about Karn & Co for a second, Cookies, but talk about them on Skyscraper.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't even remember picking. But you know what? That's okay. It's okay, because you know what? Actually, I'm gonna stick with my pick because I've heard nothing but fantastic things about how Karn, from his players that he's used to play with, and from teams that play against him. We heard what Bio said. This guy does his homework on what his team needs to do, right? There's one thing you can say. You can't say is that they won't go in prepared. They're gonna be prepared on this new map, I think, and that's what I give the edge to Karn. Even though I don't remember picking them in the first place. But you know, that's okay. I'm going to stick with it. I don't care. What do you think, Daps?
You know what, Connor, though? Karn & Co is one of those teams that can burn anyone at any time. I don't think any team is safe from the Co of Karn & Co.
Yep, but for Arial Arise, every time a new map comes into the pool, they are typically the early adopters. They were the bank team that we saw in Stage 3, all the way back to Stage 1. Remember, there was a little bit of a cold map called Chalet that they came out and were beating the likes of Parabellum on before
Rocking
Parabellum
it.
became one of the better Chalet teams in the world. So, apply that philosophy to this new map of Skyscraper, and all of a sudden you see, yeah, Arial Arise, they're probably going to do pretty well.
Okay. Arial Arise, Karn & Co, Cookies. Arial, as we said, they've had a very good stage so far. I feel bad.
Yeah.
Because you're just sitting here saying, I don't remember picking them. And I'm pretty sure, once again, I stole my info
Oh
off
my
of
God.
you.
I remember now. Oh, okay. So Mohes is like,
Oh,
this is a secret.
do we have insider information? Is
This
that
is
what's
like,
happening right now?
whenever you vote against us, we win. So I voted against. That's why.
Hmm.
Otherwise, I probably would have picked. But I also, this is kind of like a coin toss anyway. I like Karn's team. I think it's a strong version of his team, and I like the map pick. I'm glad they finally got off these boring, goofy maps,
Yes.
and we're going to Skyscraper now. That's why I'm happy for. And Karn's team enabled it. They banned us here.
Well, we
So I
are
love
going
it
to
for that.
Skyscraper, and we're going to Skyscraper right now. No more waiting. Final match of the day, Arial Arise taking on Karn & Co.
Jonah,
Yes.
I think I'm gonna have to switch my vote to Karn.
Is that
Because
so?
I think Connor is ignoring a very, very important point when it comes to Arial Arise, previously known as Wichita Wolves, and new maps. When they were the innovators that they were of New Chalet, of Bank when it first came out, they had three very important factors going into their success: Forest, Pullout, and our very own Tanner Forceful. They have none of those three things anymore. Now, I'm sure they still put in the same amount of work. They still have Smitty. But I don't know if we can completely 100% go off that record anymore.
I don't know. I was honestly going to say the complete opposite thing, but go, generally along the same line of thought. Yes, honestly, I was going to say this team had the one and only Tanner Forceful, channeling my CJ, the one and only Tanner Forceful behind them for a good chunk of time. And guess what? That man instills that discipline, that new map focus, and that grind set onto his players. If they have that grind set still, I think that Tanner Forceful ingrained mindset is going to overpower whatever Karn mindset is there. I think when it comes to prepping new maps, Arial Arise will have an advantage because of the structure they've had in the past. So, same approach you're taking, but the complete opposite conclusion. So I guess we'll see. Who's right. But exciting nonetheless to dive into a new map. To dive into this is the first time we're seeing both of these teams play this map, and I think the first time we're seeing this map played in CL this stage. Period.
I know. I'm so happy. I'm so freaking. I could kiss all 10 players in the lobby right now, on the cheek, or even on the mouth. I just want to give them all a big old hug. Even the support staff. Shout out to the analysts of Karn and Arial Rise. You know what's another point, Yona, as well? We see Karn & Co. struggle when the pressure's on and their drones get hunted, there's no info, and when teams counter them. Because a big criticism of Karn & Co. that even Tanner brought up, earlier before we actually started the show is that Karn & Co. look weak in a lot of their later matches because they kind of do the same thing over and over again. So teams know exactly what to expect. They know just how to put the pressure on because they know exactly what they're going to do. But this is a completely new map. We have no VODs of Karn & Co. And like CJ said, these dudes are dry running just as much as Arial Arise, if not more. The 10-hour dry runs. The Karn & Co. 9 to 5. So if Arial Arise don't necessarily know what to expect, perhaps Karn & Co.'s plans do not go haywire.
Mayhaps. Perchance you are correct.
A lot of speculation going in.
Well, we don't have to speculate on which bomb site Arial Arise are going to start at, nor will we have to speculate how this map is going to begin. Reed will kick things off with a banger of a shotgun shot, but quickly gets traded out by Carnage B, the man himself, who gets the trade through the barricade. Nice long angle that the Thermite will take. Staying safe back there near spawn, making sure to collect the trade as Reed rotated through. But Freak is still hunting for more. You see him down below, rotating through kitchen, trying to play on that kitchen window. But honestly, right now, just being as mobile as possible. He's rotating over by Sushi Bar, trying to avoid Mikey, who has snuck in from behind. Mikey has no idea what's going on, though, and Freak will collect the kill for free.
Again, where are the drones? At least Zeno comes in for the refrag. But if Mikey and Feltwinter getting picked off so early on like that, Feltwinter just dying behind a barricade, Mikey moving in without proper info, if that's going to be a common theme, then perhaps I'm going to be sorely regretting switching to the Karn & Co. prediction. But either way, they've finally taken this bottom floor control. They're looking to work bottom up, but I mean, they don't have the buck anymore. They can't go ahead and do that upwards vertical destruction. The only thing they really have is Zeno with his nades, and I don't know if they have solid info in the site. They've got a drone all the way on the other side of the map upstairs, and perhaps, if they get a spot on mirror windows, they can nade below them, kill the player sitting behind it, even maybe destroy the mirror window itself as well. He's got a ping on one of them. We'll likely see that nade immediately follow up, and this could potentially get the kill on the Wamai as well, but no. He will just narrowly avoid the explosive. Maybe take a lick of damage there, but the second nade fails as well, and Karn & Co. have really done nothing with this bottom floor control.
Yeah, all they're doing right now is simply just, telegraphing their positions, and finally now just enabling themselves to transition to this top floor. You see two players clambering on these black stairs, a C4 nearly taking care of them, but Zeno staying alive. They do have pings on their position, though. Mo knows exactly where to look. Jay knows where to look as well. Takes care of Zeno, the first one. Whitlock probably soon to follow behind, as will Karn himself. Whitlock's the player on the window, trying to flash in, flashing that Geisha rotate. Karn will actually collect a kill onto Jay, so we're back in a 2v2. Reed is positioned close on the door, though. He'll go for a pre-fire, gets the head of Whitlock. 5 seconds for Karn to get this bomb down, and he is simply going to not have any time to do it. Out of time and out of options, and well, Reed will actually be the one to actually get the kill before the round could conclude. But essentially at 000, Karn & Co. out of options. Arial Arise the first round.
And it all started with that roam underneath, killing Feltwinter very early on, slapping down one of two pairs of nades. Then you get the kill on Mikey, probably the most important operator for that push, used to flush out positions like on that Geisha rotate, like where Jay was right next to the karaoke wall, like those mirror windows that the defenders were so safe playing behind, and Karn & Co. were forced to push themselves up black stairs. Arial Arise knew exactly where they were coming from. Reed landed a very nice shot onto I believe, Whitlock to completely deny any semblance of a push in through karaoke, and Karn just had no time to work with. Arial Arise successfully stalling out the clock and getting picks from below. Speaking of picks, we'll still have Mira in play. Arial Arise seemed to be quite the fan of her on Skyscraper.
Well, at least 2 rounds in, yes. We'll see Reed bringing her out over here on Exhibition and Office, or Museum as it is better known. You, of course, have those mirror windows that are likely going to be, I'd argue, allocated one towards each direction. Of course, you have to worry about just pressure coming from that museum side, the balcony side, as you can work your way in. But, of course, you've got this entire other side of the map where the attackers can work their way through, eventually clearing up the terrace, clearing up the shrine and dragon to make that transition across. We can see that first window facing the office breach towards the balcony. We also have a good bit of site hold actually happening down below. We've got Jay with a shotgun positioned down in bathroom over on the house side of the map, hoping to maybe establish a couple of vertical holes, prevent any jump-ins on those windows up above.
And of course, the main focus for Karn & Co. right now is on the opposite side of the map, and again, no info. Feltwinter is through the door ahead of the drone and gets very easily flanked by none other than Reed Sink. And like I said, Feltwinter getting picked off early on without making any impact, moving ahead of those drones. If that is a common theme in this match, Karn & Co. are going to be in a world of hurt. They're continuing to drone in on this side of the map. I mean, Reed has made his way all the way back to site. The only one really extended right now is Freak in, I believe, in Terrace. And Mikey clearing through. He's going to be opening up a lot of these walls to make way for his team. You actually even have Mo duoing with Freak right up on that little Geisha single wall, that little platform in Drum. Also someone underneath. Carnage B just narrowly misses his opportunity as Jay throws up a C4, and because of that, he'll likely make it back to site safe and sound.
Oh, well, Mo sneaks up behind.
drones.
Again, these roamers completely catching these attackers off guard. Freak goes for another, takes down Zeno. Mo does get finished off, and he won't be recovered as Whitlock claims that one, but it's only Karn, and it is only Whitlock remaining, and a 2v4. They have a minute, but they've got so much utility to encounter. They've got a mirror window staring them in the face as well, which is not going to make this any easier. Right now, it is Arial Arise, their map knowledge over the top of Karn & Co., because Karn and Whitlock is unlikely they're going to be able to do much. Looks like Freak is eager to get aggressive, and he wants to finish off these two players before they can actually end up pushing into the site. Karn is going to hope to open up another avenue by getting this exothermic down, but using this opportunity maybe to just walk in the doorway where Jay is waiting for him. Good distraction from Jay, so Reed picks up the kill. Whitlock gets it back, but Freak to finish it off, and it's Arial Arise for 2 in a row.
Starting to regret agreeing with CJ, as one often does. Again, Karn & Co. walking in blind. Like, they didn't know where Reed was because Felt walked in front of the drone. They didn't know that Mo was sitting in that corner by Geisha wall, which a lot of teams open up to get the long angle. And I guess they just didn't want to waste a thermite charge on it. So good drone denial, I guess, from Freak, who was playing there. Just a lot of not knowing from Karn & Co. through the first couple rounds, and it's been an issue that has plagued them throughout their, last couple of games. Ever since week, 3 or 4, they've just been getting demolished in the info game, and if you keep shooting their drones out, they're just going to give up and walk in, apparently. Really disappointing to see from Karn & Co. because I know they can be better than that, and yet almost every entry engagement that we see Arial Arise taking, it's because Karn and Co are just looking the other way.
While concerning as it is for through 2 rounds, I think this time out especially, I think Karn and Co are going to be just fine. Now, I may have to bite my tongue in a bit for saying that, but I think that, I mean, really, Arial Arise are winning these. They've won these 2 rounds based on just roamers being somewhere that Karn and Co are not expecting. If Karn and Co can maybe muster some more direct attacks, in theory, that could alleviate that issue. If they could tidy up their drone work, of course, and get their coordination a bit on point and stop going with solo plays, that would certainly help. But one easy way to get around worrying about flanks and worrying about roamers is just, well, stop trying to clear out roamers. If you don't know the map well, if you don't know where these roamers might be sitting and where some flanks could surprise you from, then just try to focus on taking less map control while still making sure you do enough to get site control and eventually able to get that execute. I mean, that is what the Nomad allows you to do. You can kind of take a shortcut, and as long as you have air jabbed off whatever positions in the middle of the map the defense could rotate through, maybe you could get your attack going a little bit quicker. You don't give as much time for the defense to literally run all over you. That point aside, though, we'll have to see how they actually change, what they actually alter as we get into round 3.
Again, bringing plenty of drone denial with the Mozzie and the Mute combo, making sure that, again, Karn and Co are going to be walking into this building blind. Seems like the main attack is going to mount from the east side of things. So no full over clear, which I guess is kind of like what you talked about, right? Taking the shortcut, not full clearing the map. They don't really need to drone out that side of the building because they're just going to go direct. They do not want to worry about the full roam extension that Arial Arise have going on. Instead, they'll be happy to just air jab off terrace, probably stick someone there watching the doorway, open that main breach, and try and send it in sight. Now, there is a jammer, so they are going to have to bust it from below. That's why there's flashbangs going in. A nade to follow will take out the jammer, but there's a bandit as backup. ReedSync looking like he wants to trick the wall and might be successful. Yeah, first thermite charge, gonna get burned out. Jay, at least, goes down, so there's some kind of repercussion. As Freak is the next to fall. So, I mean, essentially 2 kills here for the attack, as Jay actually gets res now, so make it just 1, but they've at least flushed the bandit off. They finally get that breach open. They have an opening pick, and Karn and Co finally start off with an advantage.
I do like the way Jay played that. He distracted those players down below so the bandit was safe on the wall, in no danger of those nades, but, well, ReedSync is safe no more. He swings out and picks up the kill onto Mikey, but there's a trade from Karn and Co, a little bit more discipline being showcased, getting the trade and, well, staying even, or at least within 1. Reed brings things back, though. Getting a nice C4 onto Whitlock, removing the Nomad, and now putting Karn and Co into a bit of a tough spot. They've got this breach open, and they could start to push in. Keep in mind, they've got to go vertical. This is the top floor. This is not even the site, and they are continuing to lose bodies.
Feltwinter needs to step up. There's one on the house stairs, and he's not looking the right way. Jay finds his 2nd kill, and Karn is alone in a 1 versus 3. 48 seconds to play with. Like you mentioned, Arial Arise completely denying that top floor coverage Karn and Co were so desperately looking for. We know just how important the vertical play is on this site, and it's been completely denied from this attack. Not even a 2nd exothermic charge to deal with the bathroom wall. Not like he could by himself anyway, considering there's a jammer by it. Someone over mezzanine could potentially flank Karn as well. There's a Melusi Banshee staring his way, and there's the flank coming in. Reed Adams with the final pick, and Arial Arise continuing to dominate Karn and Co.
Yeah, domination through 3 rounds, and a big problem for Karn and Co that even after the timeout, even after having some time to think about what has gone wrong and how to regroup, well, the same mistakes get them in trouble. They started off direct. They started off trying to contest that attack head on, and that is where they found the most success. But the moment they tried to step into the map and transition to get the vertical play, that is where things started to crumble apart. Arial Arise, even though they got aggressive and maybe they got punished for it early, the remaining 3 defenders were passive enough, patient enough that Karn and Co could make not enough progress to get anything really substantial and meaningful done.
I don't know what it is, man. We even saw Feltwinter have impact, getting a kill. downing Jay, and it still was not enough. How many times did we see in that mid-round Karn & Co. would walk in and get killed by something they didn't know about? It's been a theme, not just in this game, and I'm going to keep harping on it, not just in this game, but in their last few Playdays as a whole. I mean, already, look, we just ended prep phase, and Karn & Co. have lost 2 drones. That is just, it's not the drone economy that you want. I mean, we're back on T. Karn & Co. had a decent chance of winning this round. You know, it wasn't great, but it was there in a 2 versus 2. If they clear downstairs properly, maybe, you know, they have a better advantage. But again, that relies on them doing it properly. But it doesn't even look like they're going downstairs. This time, it's going to be museum over.
Well, it's a Whitlock who is likely to work his way in the building shortly, trying to set up those air jabs. He'll be assisted here by Karn and those exothermic charges that we saw him get down last time. Same wall on the exhibition or office wall. We'll open this one up, wary that there could be someone around the corner, but you can see that Karn & Co., they are moving in what feels like a lot more timidly than before, right? In their drone work, you can see those drones moving all over this top floor, clearing out every single corner. And, I mean, that's the beauty of the style that Arial Arise have played so far. It is intimidating, to say the least. It now forces attackers into an awkward, uncomfortable position of never feeling comfortable with the map control that they have. Incredibly effective as a defensive strategy, if it works. Of course, comes with a lot of risk when you take those gunfights, but we're now seeing that strategy, high-risk strategy, pay off, even through the 4th round, where we're not seeing as much of a roam from this defense. Instead, they're mostly sitting back on this top floor, yes, except for Reed Sink, who is sitting down below. But the rest of these defenders are sitting on the site, waiting for Karn & Co. to make the move, and without applying any defensive pressure, almost nothing in the face of the attackers just yet, 2 minutes have been burned.
Yeah, it's been super slow from Karn & Co. Timid, I think, was the perfect word for it. They'll finally open that geisha wall, so, I mean, well, the whole entire east side of the map is theirs. Geisha, you know, an opportunity has opened up. They're not just going to have to send it up black stairs and in through the karaoke window, so there's that, I guess. Mikey eats a C4 to the feet, does a lot of damage to him. In comes the Iana. He'll punch the mirror window, so a lot less coverage into Dragon that the defenders now have, but you can see Karn & Co. are worried about the holes in the floor. They even saw one, you know, by Drum, which is part of the reason why they rotated, but it's Feltwinter with the leadoff kill onto Reed Adams before Jay immediately refrags, ensuring that his team is still in favor. Freak follows it up onto Mikey. Looking for a kill is Zeno, but he'll miss the shots. Oh no, the Omai survives, almost punishes him. Geisha still in the control of the defense despite the open wall, and that means Karn has to pivot. He's taking Diffuser to Drum, and he'll die. Zeno gets a nade kill, sure, but it's too little too late. 3 seconds left. In comes the sprint. Zeno's down easily. Freak gets the last, and Arial Arise take their 4th in a row.
I think it was Connor on the desk who said that this game, I'm talking about the critical points for Karn & Co., that this game will come down to the executes. And well, through 3 rounds, that wasn't entirely true because we never really got to the execute phase of the round. It was already over before then. But in round 4, that really came to fruition in its fullest. And I thought for a moment, when Feltwinter got the opener, I thought for a moment, this is Karn & Co.'s round. This is their chance. They've built up this entire attack. They've lost not a single body all the way through. All they've got to do is make the call. They made the call. They got the opening pick, but then it all got shut down. Jay got a kill. Freak got a kill. All the kills just raining towards Arial Arise, and all of a sudden, it was over yet again. Arial Arise proving now in the 4th round that not only can they go with that roam-heavy, aggressive, defensive strategy, but they can also sit back and wait, and that their on-site setups are more than sufficient to take the round either way. That's a bit of a flex, I gotta say, proving that no matter what Karn & Co. throw at them, whatever their defensive variation, that they are the better team, they know this map better, and they're gonna win this game.
It certainly looks that way. 4 in a row on the defensive side, where Skyscraper, you know, everything I've heard about it has people saying it's attacker-sided through and through. Haven't been seeing that today. Oh, is there a run out? Nope. Okay, he just opened the barricade. I thought he was going to run out, and Mikey might get a kill, might get a freebie there, or get fried, but nothing ends up coming of it. There's still roamers on this side of the map, though, from Arial Arise. It's Mo on the castle and Freak on Bandit, the dynamic duo who helped shut down the initial clear on this site just a couple rounds ago. Drones are coming in from Karn & Co. Will they check the same positions that Mo was sitting in earlier? Well, he won't be in that cubby, but he's still going to try and lord over Drum with that 1.5. Has a nice little foothold. He'll miss a couple shots, though, eat a bullet, and thus fall back to Terrace.
Mikey is feeling the pressure here, worried that there could be someone coming up those main stairs at any moment. It would likely be Reed Sync down below. I keep getting confused with the two Reeds with the identical names, with one character separating them. But Reed Sync on the Jaeger.
Back in CL, huh?
Reed Sync on the Jaeger. I mean, he's the one who could have done that, but he'll head back to the site, choosing to play a bit more passively. Only one player on the defensive side remains down below. We'll be rotating over towards Master, looking to play some vertical potentially with that C4 late game. But again, Arial Arise falling back to the strategy they were in the previous round, a more passive defensive strategy. You see 3 players spread out on this top floor, essentially in a firing line, waiting for Karn & Co. to start entering these doorways, start pressuring in with some nades, and for the first time, I guess for the second time, it is Feltwinter with the opening kill, but a good early kill, not immediately followed by a trade that Karn & Co. have working for them now too, as Mikey picks up Reed Sync.
Brilliant shot, but there's a C4 to answer. Jay onto Feltwinter. The second nade will miss. Reed Adams will find an equalizer, compounding Arial Arise's comeback. And Karn & Co., look at them. They're at a bit of a standstill. Karn is going to open the VIP wall. That'll force Mo back. But Reed Adams has retaken behind the minibar. Jay is still downstairs watching mezzanine, though. He can't do much without a C4 in pocket. I believe, according to the overlay, it's already been used. So, not quite sure if there's much he can do from down there. They'll spot out the castle, so they've got info on one player, and thus, Mo will go down. Karn & Co. now have the best chance of winning a round that they've had in this entire game. It's up to them not to squander it against Jay. The lone mute, 1 versus 3. Zeno cleans up the 2 kills, and Whitlock on the flank shuts down the mute, and finally, after 4 rounds, Karn & Co. take a point.
Really felt like at least Jay was gifting that opportunity to Karn & Co. He was downstairs the entire round, and ever since that C4 was used, there was no reason for him to be down there. Especially, there was no reason for him to be working his way all the way to the restaurant side of the map, all the way around the other side to work a flank when his teammates needed him on the site more than ever. There was no coverage on the house stairs. He could have walked up there. At the very least, he could have held some vertical holes helping his 2 teammates, but all of a sudden, it became a substantial man advantage in favor of Karn & Co. They had the advantage they needed on the site. They was a 3v2, I believe it was at that point, because Jay was far and away from that site and not there to support his teammates, and Karn & Co. sensed that opportunity. They sprung into action. They had somebody on flank watch, and they finally got that execute going. That time, Arial Arise, their more passive setup didn't work as well because Karn & Co., they kept things tidy, and when that execute actually came through, they didn't lose as many bodies, and they kept with those trades.
Yeah, wonderfully done to Karn & Co. Finally, a sign of life, Jonah. They're alive. They can win a round. But can they do it again? If they go down 5-1 at the half here, I will be... I'm already at, like, my threshold of worriness. And if they go down 5-1, I might be like one of those, like, cartoon breaking thermometer moments. Like, I might just be overcome with anguish and grief for Karn & Co.'s chances in this game. So hopefully they're able to string together another round for their sake and for their fans' sake.
And for your sake, because we don't want that anguish and grief.
That too. I don't want to be, lamentable right in the middle of a CL cast, but Arial Arise are extending themselves even further now. They're like, okay, you know what? We gave Karn & Co. too much space. We gave them too much space. We let them do what they want. Now we're going to get in their face. We're going to be up front, deny those drones. Jonah, we are 50 seconds in, and Karn & Co. have 4 drones left.
Frankly, ridiculous at this point. Maybe another drone to be taken out here as Mo will spot one out, and there it is. Not only taking care of the drone economy, but taking care of these bodies as well.
2.
And another drone just for a bonus. Freak lines up 2. He lines up 3, and Geisha, he's doing all the work. What is Karn & Co. doing? They lose their drones, and they just give up? They just send their bodies straight at Freak, and he cleans them up. What in the world? Talk about a way to end the half, but now it's a 5-1 split guaranteed because it's Karn alone in a 1v5, and he looks like he's given up.
There goes my mental.
Grief and anguish.
Pretty soon you'll hear my screams of agony as Karn, takes an impromptu timeout. He's got a whole minute 10 to talk it over with his team. He's probably, guys, what the hell are we doing? 1 minute in, Jono. 1 minute. They lose 4 bodies and are down to 2 drones. That might be the worst drone economy that I've ever seen in T2 in the past, like, 2 years of casting this. Like, how? How do you lose that many drones? It's uncanny is what it is. Unfathomable. Karn is going to get 1 kill baiting. That puts down Freak. He'll got a 3K and nothing more. I'm sure Freak is really sad about that. Karn is, just trying to pad his stats. He's got 20 seconds left. He's already got 1 kill. He'll line up 2. Take the head off of Mo. But, he will then get finished off by Reed Singh. There's Arial Arise at the long last, confirming that 5-1 half. And, looking pretty damn good while doing it.
Yeah, gotta say, it did really feel like Arial Arise dominance the entire time. Even that one round that they gave up, it didn't feel as composed, but it also didn't feel as high energy or high effort. They backed off. They said, let's test Karn & Co here. Let's see how much they can actually do if we give them a chance to do it. After losing that round, they probably said, you know what, let's just not give them the chance to do it this time. And they amplified that defensive extension, that roam, that aggression, whatever you want to call it, whatever it is we saw through those first 3 rounds of defense. They amplified that, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 times, because that was just insane. They had 3 defenders over in T-Room, over in Karaoke, shooting out 7 drones within about 60 seconds. And then when Karn & Co. just decided, well, we're clearly not droning them out, let's just send it in there, well, Freak was lying in wait and took care of them rather cleanly. So, yep, like you said, it's a 5-1 half for Arial Arise. And it is very possible that we are going to be seeing a defensive-sided Skyscraper because both of these teams focused so much on learning the map defensively that they forgot to learn how to attack. It's possible. I mean, it certainly looked like Karn & Co. didn't practice their attacking strats. They may have only prepped defense, so maybe it'll be crazy strong. Maybe it'll be crazy strong, but whatever you do want to call it, I would call it unlikely to see a dramatic comeback, but ball is in Karn & Co.'s court, quite literally. Carnage B, Carnage Basketball, the man himself, has a chance at dribbling this one back and hopefully working a comeback of some kind.
Yeah, Karn & Co. are just a defensive team.
Yeah.
I'm inhaling the copium like it's the oxygen I need to breathe right now. I don't even care if Karn & Co. lose at this point. I just don't want it to be a 7-1. I don't want the first Skyscraper map we see to be over in half an hour, Jonah. Why does the universe hate us? Why do the teams hate us? Why do they troll? Why can't they just be better? That's the question at the end of the day. But counter to what we saw from Arial Arise, Karn & Co. are not really challenging downstairs. There's no semblance of a roam there. They're kind of just giving it away for free to Arial Arise. Let them use their nades from below. There's someone right next to the hatch who could easily fall victim to said nade, but Jay will think better of it, I guess. Not having any info to play off of. He just wants to move up and join his thermite. There is a jammer behind the wall, and nothing much that the attack can do about it except for below. And there we go. Finally, we'll see Jay entry in. Down goes the jammer. In goes the exothermic charge. And Arial Arise will start with an open breach on Geisha.
Yeah, but it's taken them 90 seconds, and that is the only progress they have to speak of. Not the greatest place to start. But they've got the momentum and they've got the confidence, so if this one does devolve into gunfights, I would argue that Arial Arise have a bit of an edge. We're still probably about 20, at least 20, maybe more like 40 seconds from actually seeing those gunfights start because Arial Arise still seem to be eager to pressure from below, trying to send a couple of these nades up. They've actually spent so much time nading. They only have 1 remaining in Mo's pocket, the Yana, who only has 1. Freak and Jay have already used both of their nades each. And as far as the rest of that explosive potential goes, it's just going to come down to who can just start the fragging and when exactly is that going to begin. Karaoke possibly has an opening here for the attack. Geisha is still in the control of Karn and Co. And, well, with that control, they're delaying Arial Arise, giving Xeno the chance to step up and get one. Now he'll get two. Feltwinter lines one up, and Mikey to close things out, and Karn and Co. deliver a flawless one.
What the hell just happened? It's like Xeno got the run out, and then everyone from Arial Arise just died. It's the same mistake we saw from Karn and Co. with, I guess, Arial Arise taking far too long, garnering too little map control for the amount of time they spent getting it, and at the end, forced themselves up Black Stairs, and that was really their only avenue of attack. I mean, there's a shotgun waiting for them. What the hell are you going to do against it? Mikey got 2 freebies. And Arial Arise, with a pretty rough start to their attack. Not what I expected, considering how good they were on defense. That attack was lacking in a lot of things. Info, despite having, like 6 drones left at the minute mark. Lacking in control. All they really had was downstairs. Lacking in dimensions. They tried to push Dragon, Balk, and Black Stairs, and that was like it. Even though they had Geisha open. I guess they just didn't want to clear the shield, even though they had nades from below, and the entire floor is destructible. I don't know. A lot of problems with that attack that hopefully Arial Arise won't repeat. Or at least won't repeat until the game is closer.
10 seconds to go.
Troubling, though, because it really looked like Arial Arise did very little throughout the 3 minutes of that round. Right, we didn't see them actually get a lot done. We saw a couple of breaches, we saw some droning, and we did see some map control and some nades, but in terms of kills and actual site control, we actually never got to see them do any of that because, again, they got flawless, no kills in their pockets. So they're going to be looking to change that up. I wouldn't mind seeing them quicken the pace of these attacks either to get jiggy with it. Start just sending it on into sight once you see an opening. This site has some potential for that, given that there is already an opening in that wall near the site, over by the top of those house stairs. You also could always hop in that museum window and just kind of jump in and send it on through.
Yeah, it looks like Arial Arise are going relatively direct, like we saw Karn and Co. do on their upstairs clear of bedroom. It wasn't the site, but still, similar philosophy. Hold off terrace, make sure no one can swing out. Clear a nade from below in that window, open up that breach, and then try and shove your way through. So really no opposite side of the map clear. So Mikey's got a shield facing this breach with not a lot to challenge him, but Jonah, we got there's a focal point to this attack. It is read sync on that Ying, the wedge, to help try and bisect the site, like Connor said on the desk. Great word for that, by the way. Bisecting your defenders. But he's actually kind of far afield from the main breach, so maybe with that main breach open, now Arial Arise with a minute and a half are going to try putting more stock on the other side of the map.
They do have some time to work with, not a ton. They proved that does take a while to maneuver around this map. It is quite a big map at that. Freak will open things up, though. Despite the size of the map, Mikey still finds himself exposed to an angle, and he'll get taken down by Freak, who will get quickly healed a little bit back up thanks to a nice Finka boost from Mo. Here come the first Candelas, and here comes Freak on the entry. Reed follows close behind to get this bomb down. He will enter all the way deep into the site, in fact, waiting to get this bomb down and allowing his team to be vulnerable to some C4s. Reed and Freak, though, good on the coverage, will take down 2. Karn will get an answer, but now with this bomb down, it's got to be a retake from Whitlock. He gets 2. All of a sudden, it is all up to Mo. Now in a 1v1. Clutch factor for both of these players, but it would be crazy for Whitlock to get this triple. He's got the pings and the swing, but he didn't quite pre-fire that angle in time. Mo was ready for that heads-up gunfight. He also saw the swing coming. Both players had intel and had pings on their exact positions, and it just came down to who could click first.
Whitlock didn't pre-fire. That is so tragic with both players having info. You'd think that it would favor Whitlock considering he's the one swinging. Oftentimes people talk about the current meta in Siege. It is a swing or be swung world, but Whitlock dropping the pre-fire. Mo was ready for that fight, but we want to talk about the rest of that round. Arial Arise played off the Candelas very well. Opening that breach already takes a lot of sight presence away from the defense, forces them back to Museum to play those long angles. So, of course, the Candelas are going to go far as well. That allows Freak to walk all the way through VIP, through Museum, get a nice little angle on, or sorry, not through VIP, through Bar, and get an angle on VIP. I think getting 2 kills before being refragged by the castle. In the meantime, you have someone on a solo play hitting the back from Arial Arise, able to trade out the castle, and sure, Whitlock had a very nice retake, killing the 2 people in the bomb site that weren't watching the Museum split, but even then, it just happened to go down to the 1v1, and Mo was better. And that's really all there was to it. Sad for Karn & Co. That'll drop map and match point. And Arial Arise are sitting pretty, I'm sure, very comfortable with the 4th-round lead they've acquired.
Yeah, likely just waiting for the next round to fall itself into their hands. This time, of course, changing things up slightly, keeping Freak on the Ashe, which is as unorthodox as ever. You know, Ashe generally has fallen out of the meta, but doing away with the Ying. So we're not going to see those smokes or the Candelas that the Ying brings to the table, at least for this round. The attack on both kitchen and barbecue on the first floor down below. Is this the first time we've seen this site? I think tonight. I think it is. Okay, because on the other side of things, Arial Arise preferred the other side of the map, at least master and bathroom, when they went down to that first floor. But so for now, I guess Karn & Co. a new site and, well, a new opportunity to see how this is going to be played. It's Whitlock who's playing aggressively in Geisha, and a C4 that does not connect, but both ReedSync and that's Mo right next to him. They know somebody's in there. They've got that breach open, and this player, I mean, Whitlock is in a load of trouble.
Yeah, he's pretty much screwed unless he pulls out something biblical, as CJ likes to say, but he will end up getting out. Curious that Arial Arise, after opening that breach, decide to back off? I mean, they won't lose anyone, but they also let a kill slip through their fingers. Meanwhile, Freak, as well as a couple of his teammates, such as Jay, have established themselves on the other side of the map by Terrace, by Dragon, before Jay ends up hopping down and now tag teaming with the Finca to perhaps take Pantry. Very spread out from Arial Arise right now, you know, with men outside Geisha, downstairs, by Terrace, what have you, but no one from Karn & Co. is getting aggressive, so there's no real punishment for Arial Arise just yet.
Oh, well, the first kill is now found. That's going to be Jay claiming that kill onto Karn. Here comes the drop and the aggression ramping up from this attack, and ReedSync will claim another. There goes Feltwinter. There goes Whitlock. It's Freak to claim that one. Zeno gets one back, but now the plant's going down from Reed Adams. Mikey does get one and takes down ReedSync, but still, it is going to be a 2v1 for this, 2v3 for this defense, and they've got to pull out something incredible. Zeno gets one, but down for his troubles. Mikey wants this res, so he'll take the time, the valuable time, to rotate over and revive his teammate. Both Mo and Reed are playing on the rappel right now, trying to avoid being exposed to any angles. Both of these Karn & Co. defenders, they're stuck here. What? They're stuck here due to the castle barricades. Zeno blows himself up trying to get through the wall. Mikey wastes an impact, and now he is out of time. He is nowhere close to this diffuser and has no idea where Arial Arise are positioned. That is curtains if Mo can find this angle, and yes, he can. It is Arial Arise who finished things off in a puzzling round 9, but close things with a victory on Skyscraper, the first time we've seen this map, and a dominant win for Arial.
So, I was wrong. Karn & Co. end up completely fumbling the bag in almost every sense of the word, in every way possible, and they didn't look like they knew what they were doing on Skyscraper. I mean, maybe they were droning it, or maybe they had dry run it and they were confident. Maybe they hadn't played a Skyscraper with a Mira up before, because Arial Arise were playing the Mira very well, and Karn & Co. did not get nearly as much payout for it. I mean, the issues that Karn & Co. had, none of it had to do with counter-stratting. It was all intrinsic, and they really got to go back to the drawing board, because they are just a hair above Nocturnes in the standings now.
Yeah, not looking so good for them. Arial Arise redeeming themselves this week and putting on a performance on Skyscraper, and the pain of this, what sucks about this, Harrison, is I know for a fact now that's another map that people are going to ban against Arial Arise. They're going to see the 7-2 victory on Skyscraper, and then they're going to say, oh, well, we're not going to go to Skyscraper again. So even less chance that we're going to see Skyscraper, at least when Arial Arise are
real
concerned.
sad.
But that's going to do it for Crow and I today. It has been a blast to be back here in CL, and 5 best of ones as always, thrilling. But our final time, we're going to pass it back to the analyst desk to break this one down and tell us what really was the secret behind that Arial Arise dominance.
So maybe we won't see another Skyscraper against Arial Arise, but maybe that means that we see more against Karn and Co. Who knows? But in any event, Cookies, if I was going to tell you going into today that one of these matches would end up 7-2, would you have guessed that it would have been this one?
You see, Arial Arise, see, being able to go to Skyscraper in the first place is like, it's a dessert that they earned over the course of this whole stage. Being a natural threat on, the clubhouses and the Oregons, and then being open to playing Chalet and whatnot, it pretty much forced Karn and Company into a situation where they auto-lost the map bans. And I know I picked them. It was a cursed situation, right? I'm just trying to help out Mohes. That's all that was. But, I gotta say, I really want to double down on that. I think it was a season-long development to get to this point, Arial Arise. Jonas said, people are going to ban Skyscraper. So now, you have to ban a lot against them now. I think they're really establishing their map pool as being elite. And those stats. Honestly, nobody really did anything elite. It was a really good team effort. They really shut down Karn and Company. They looked lost on attack. CDAPs. I would say that their drone game was rather poor. Feltwinter's looking at the wrong stuff, getting shot in the side of the head. It was sorry, wasn't it?
Yeah, but Feltwinter still found some opening picks, but you have to think about it. You could look at it and you're like, okay, the conversion rate off of their opening picks was pretty poor. But it's because you were trading somebody like Freak on the side of Arial Arise for 7 or 8 drones every round. Yeah, you can kill him, but his job was done. He would still maybe get a pick or 2 if he survived to the late round, but when your Karn and Co. and your supports have no drones, your entries have no drones, your flex have no drones. There was one of those rounds with the tactical timeout at 2 minutes left in the round. There was 2 drones left on the board. 2 drones in one. After 1 minute of play, Arial Arise took out 8 drones. That is ridiculous. That is ludicrous. I've never seen anything quite like that. And then Arial Arise just ratted out underneath windows because they knew they couldn't be droned out, got a bunch of kills, and Karn's like, oh no, what happened?
That's one of the things about this game is as much as it is a first-person shooter, and it's all about taking down those enemies, at its core, it's an intel-based game. When those drones are gone, Cookies, I've played with some people before where I'm very much the worst person in the lobby, but if they're giving me calls, I look like an absolute god because, I know where you are and you don't know where I am, and therefore you're dead.
That's why this is one of the greatest games in the market, Rim. Teamwork makes the dream work, and that includes the intel game. You could be an absolute bot. You could be Brimstone. You could even be a gold like Intero, and you can swing on people. And that's that.
Yeah.
All she wrote.
That intel can make you look like you're cheating at times, even when, hey, you're just going off some good old-fashioned calls. But we do have the coach right now for Arial Arise. It's Fettuccini. We'll ask him a few questions. Yep. Fettuccini, how is it going? That was a huge win for you guys. Not just do you get the points, which you guys are used to getting, it was pretty decisive, 7-2.
Yep. You already know.
Well, when you go up against a team like this, you've managed to get points now, not just this team, every team. You've managed to get points in every single one of your games. It's either you're winning or you're losing in overtime. Is that a huge boost to the team that you can look back and say, hey, even when we're losing, we're getting points?
The team takes the overtime losses just as any losses. I think we're here to win. I think we're not here to just get, overtime points and move on. They're nice for the standings, but at the end of the day, we're here to win. And I think after our first OT loss last week, I think we just got to be better, and we became better. And as you can see from our last 3 games, they were pretty dominant, at least for one shot. We started 6-2 as well. We had a little bit of trolling on attacks, but, we closed it out.
How did it feel going to Skyscraper today? Bit of a change up, at least so far this year.
It felt great because we've been trying to take teams to the new maps, and every time I see someone on Twitter being like, oh, CO don't want to play the new maps, I'm like, we've been trying, Teams just have been banning out those new maps against us, but we finally got it, and we were able to show what we got. So yeah.
And the stats too. One last question. The stats too across the board were pretty even. The only person that I would say was a bit behind in the stats was Mo, but it wasn't even because Mo was playing poorly. It just looked like everyone was jumping in on the action before him.
I mean, that guy's in an impact position every round. I mean, you saw the one round. I don't know if the streamer was able to catch it, but he was stuck in gold and he was getting flash naded, just like it in an absolute like hellfest, right? So he's always impacting the round in his own way, and he's extremely talented. He's a huge part of the team.
Yeah, well, thank you for your answers. Thank you for your time, Fettuccine, and
course.
good luck on the rest of the season. It's been going well so far. We expect more things.
Thank you so much. Shout out Arial, Rise. Shout out Rusty.
Thank you.